Dark, hot mountains. Time changes all things. At first a boiling cauldron of molten rock, a mixture of mud, minerals, where gases hiss through the vents in the fractured earth, where no life existed, neither plant nor animal. Eons later, a tropical forest, a paradise, teeming with life, with giant trees and swamps where strange beasts, giants, fought for survival among their own kind. Only this passed to a new time, a time of vast mesquite forests with different life forms, with wolves, elk, lions, antelope, and a new addition, ancient man, the old bones of the old ones still are found in the burial mounds near the dry stream beds. Streams that once flowed from the mountain canyons. The mountains ever so slowly eroding. The streams carrying the bits and pieces of the treasure, the gold and the silver. The clues that led the modern man to the treasure he so desired, to the point of risking his life, digging holes deep into the mountain where the gold lies thousands of feet below, covered by millions of tons of metamorphic rock. Well, getting hot. Summertime is a-coming. Everything's in bloom. The Ocotillo must have got some water early this spring, and it's really looking good, looking beautiful. This was where the last gold rush in Arizona happened. This is the Harqua Hala Hills. Or mountains. They're pretty good size, but they're not huge, anything like that. As early as 1762, I believe it was, when the Spanish were scouring the whole southwestern desert, clear over to the Colorado, and all the way up, and of course even across the river. They wanted to find gold. They had to find gold because the King of Spain wanted it. And whatever he wanted, that's what he got. Or the Queen, I don't know who was in command then, I have no idea. It may be in a succession, but they were all after the gold. The Spanish found gold here, but it was it was just placer gold. All of these canyons and arroyos were full of good quality placer gold that made it worthwhile. But of course, historians blame it on the Apaches, which everything's blamed on the Apache anyway. But it might have been the Chemehuevi that live right about 20 miles from here, or used to, right on the Colorado, and they ran these mountains. This is where they hunted. This was one of their hunting grounds. And the Apache used it too, I'm sure, because there was a big tribe of Apache that ran down from Bill Williams on the Colorado, clear down to Yuma, and lived in the mountains in their hideaways where there was water, and they thought this was theirs too. Well, they ran the Spanish off and made it just too hot for them. They killed them off, really. But that wasn't satisfied. They came back later, in 1814, and prospected some more, and they got ran off again. So it laid idle for a long, long time. The reason I was saying it's the last one because the real strike didn't happen until about 1908 or somewhere in there, 1909, somewhere in there. There've been people prospecting and claiming all of this area since 1888. But a bunch of fellas came in here. There was claims everywhere, plastering, and some of them that came in here, a Sullivan, a Stein, and a Walton is what he was. That was his name. They all three had claims close together, but they couldn't get into the valley, into the canyons, because it's pretty well claimed up, and they didn't want to jump nobody else's claim, otherwise they'd get shot. So they were kind of up on hills around here, and in some of the smaller arroyos. And they each had them a claim staked out, and they were raking out a little bit of gold here and there, not a heck of a lot. And they were camping together, probably for protection too. But anyway, they found this, one of them found a strike. He found a ton of gold, a nest, a pocket. And he realized that it was on the other guy's claim. I don't know which one it was, but he realized it was on his partner's claim. So he just kept them hid, you know. And he went to camp that night, and he said, "Hey, fellas, I tell you what, why don't we just pool our claims, and we'll make it where we own, all three of us own all three claims." And they thought, well, what the heck, it'll work out all right. So then he produced this hat full of nuggets that he found. Turned out that they weren't too mad at him. They were pretty happy with him because he found it, and they took out a bunch and bunches of gold, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of gold, gold as big as your fist, nuggets, golf ball size, a lot of it. They even found some float, they said, that weighed over 1,000 pounds that was almost pure gold. And so they were just happy as a hog in slop. And they started the gold rush into the Harqua Halas, into this high desert mountain, or low desert mountain. The Harqua Halas mean water, but water high up in the mountain. So there must be some springs close by. And there is water, probably about 50 feet down, underground. So no doubt in places there were streams and springs. Of course, they're all gone now. The old mines are closed, all except one. We're going to go down there and check it out. It's where the old town was. The town thrived for about 10 years. It's a sight to see. It's protected. So why don't you come on, go with me. You know who I am. I'm Barney Oldfellow. Let's go. This is Arizona's last boom town, Harqua Hala. A few ruins still stand of a town that once had 2,000 people. They had a newspaper. They had a post office. They had a theater. Very busy freight depot. The stagecoach brought mail and passengers every day. It was a bonanza gold mine. Now the first thing you might want to notice here is the pink tailings from the processed ore. Most gold mine tailings are varying shades of gray. It seems kind of unusual. Only the veins of the quartz in the mountain here is real red tint, possibly from the iron or some other mineral, some metal maybe, no telling what. On a little rise stands an assay building where the samples were tested, crushed, and ground to a powder as fine as talcum. They were taken from different levels, different veins. It's very necessary to keep the mine prosperous. Thousands of tons of rock was moved every day, and you had to know which rock to stockpile, maybe for later, and which to mill that had the most gold in it. And what was too poor to keep, maybe use it for road fill or something, or just dump it somewhere, get rid of it. Very careful records had to be kept. And samples were stored for future use or testing from some such area. And accuracy was a very must. See the different colors in the different sacks from different sections, different levels? There's a yellow, a gray, pink, brown. You wouldn't think that ore coming out of the same mine would vary so much. This concrete safe was used for storing the bullion, waiting shipment. There were those who just might take it off their hands, but should they get a chance. It's funny. The sight of too much gold sometimes changes an honest man. The Chuckawallas, they get real big up in this country. And one's out sunning himself. Occasionally you'll come upon one of these big old Mojave green rattlesnakes. And they got a temperament that's quite different. Now see on the concrete floor where the gold has been dropped and during the milling process and the processing in the years that went by in this same little building and on this same little concrete floor where the wheels that roll back and forth kind of impregnated it. It's real pretty, but there's not enough there to tear the floor up. Now it seems like Mr. Stein, Mr. Robert Stein, and Mr. Mike Sullivan, and Mr. Harry Walton, they'd sold out and had gone off to enjoy their wealth. Besides, they were miners, not businessmen. Now Hubbard and Bowers took over. This hole was already put in here. That's 250 feet down to the first level. Well, this was an English outfit. This was an English company. And they were always ready to take advantage and show the local yokels how business was really done. Only, I think they took off a little bigger bite than they wanted to. Or at least it was more than they liked. It didn't seem to work out as good as they thought. So it wasn't too dang long
before they sold out, or sold half interest, to an Australian outfit. And they had in their employ a young civil engineer named Herbert Hoover. He stayed with the operation for quite a long time, maybe a couple of years, and he was a great help. Cut costs, and he boosted production. And the miners liked him. He did things for them that helped them a lot. So they were very happy with old Herbert. Kind of a strange phenomenon happened up here. Oh, just a while back. You see that big old stand of rock up there? Weighs tons and tons. Well, it seems like about 8 months ago, there was a little earthquake over in California. About 2 o'clock in the morning over here, a feller down there in his trailer, he heard a big bang. It was like a 155 howitzer shell had exploded, and it was a clear night. And he didn't see anything, but he felt a little shake. And that rock had split away from the mountain and throwed Nokatia bushes up on top about 250, 300 feet down the hill. Back on the back side here, now this is opposite the main shaft, which by the way goes down 8 levels to about 2,000 feet under the ground. There's a lot of stopes that are opened up on the back side. This is kind of honeycombed mountain. This is something very interesting and must have been very good. And I've noticed that a lot of the old mining towns had these. This was a swimming pool for the people. Especially if you was in a desert town like this. It might seem mighty fine, really. You know, they come up here and have a picnic or just come up here and cool off in the evening. Those that had families or those that didn't have family, it wouldn't make any difference. It must have been real fine. Running water, I imagine, running through it all the time, kept it nice and clean. A wonderful thing. Now, this may have been one of Herbert's ideas. I don't know. I think possibly he came up with the idea of the 400-pound ingots, too, to kind of discourage theft. Except that if you broke one of them through the wagon, you'd have one hell of a time getting it back in there. This happened once. Now the old stamp mill's gone now. There was I believe it was either, well, I think it started out with a 20 and then they went to a 40 stamp mill. And finally went to crushers. You know, jaw crushers. I know y'all know what they are. Anyway, they're a lot more efficient than them old stamp mills. The little old creosote bush, it's just a blooming. And don't people realize that, well, you probably don't, it drops poison all the way around to keep any other plant from growing up there. It just kind of protects its own territory. These are some steps into the past. The old hotel. Oh, this was about 1890. Not a lot left of it. Adobe walls are holding up pretty good. They're braced. Had a fireplace. That must have been real nice. Must have been cozy. Cool adobe. Imagine this was the kitchen, this end of the hotel. And I imagine it was a welcome sight, especially in the wintertime. I don't think they had but about
3 or 4 rooms to stay in, and a male, and it might have been a kind of a community bedroom. You never know. Probably wouldn't make any difference because it was a place to stay to get in out of the... Actually, it'd be pretty good in the summertime too, to get in and out of the heat, get in the shade. Maybe they might have even had some cold beer. How do you know? You never know. But in the wintertime, this little fireplace, and I imagine this was probably the common room, was very welcome. But this was actually in the earlier stages of the Harqua Hala. This was in the between 88 and 1900. And then this area died down, the boom was over, and the town had its ups and downs and gradually deteriorated. It had 2 kind of fairly decent booms. Some of the buildings are still here, not very many, few of them, and they're being preserved by the owner, Mr. Reggett. It's a good thing to see. They're braced up, people don't come in here and hurt them. I'd like to see it. Go over here in a little bit and go up to see the Golden Eagle. See what's up at that mine. I believe that was probably the first one. That was the first big strike, was at the Golden Eagle. But this could have been the biggest strike. I have no idea. Maybe I can find out. I'll let you know. Can you imagine traveling across that desert, coming to this little town with the promise of a great future? You can hear the ghosts. You can almost hear the ghosts. Sometimes the wind seems to say things. Gosh, maybe I've been out in the desert too long.
Way up high on the hillside, on the peak, you can see all the way across to the Bonanza mine. Now through that little saddle, between those 2 hills, at one time there was a tramway. A tramway that carried the ore over to the mill at the Bonanza, at Harqua Hala itself. It must have been a sight to see. The foundations are still here, but all of the rigging and the timbers and everything are gone. I wonder if there's any old photographs, any old pictures. There's bound to be some somewhere, and somebody may not even know what they have. A little bit of the timber is here from the old head frame. But this was the main shaft that went down upon this ridge. Upon this ridge that is a conglomerate of veins and ore. The main shaft is pretty well deteriorated, and of course it's not used anymore. There is a tunnel that goes down below, down at the level of the valley, that goes into this. I'll show it to you at the bit. But right here it would be very dangerous to go into. There's tunnels all over, and there's open stopes all over, to where they've broken through from the digging on the inside, following the quartz veins every which way. Here's one where they've dug into the top. Now they haven't gotten very far, and they've decided to give this up for sure. But they may have taken a small bonanza right out of this area. You never know. Very unusual pink ore.
Also a real good place to run into one of these Mojave greens. I hear the whole area is just lousy with rattlesnakes. And the Mojave green is the worst one of the whole bunch. Go see what else we can see.
Looks like some very recent workings here, because this is all new lumber down in this hole, down in this tunnel. I'd like to see what's there. Might be something worthwhile. Of course, I ain't going to go down there because I really don't know how old it is and how safe it is. Looks like there's where one of the stopes is showing a hole through the top of the mountain. All this undermined all the way clear over to that other mountain that you can see in the background. Maybe 500, 600, 800 feet underneath. Honeycombed. We parked our truck up here on top. I'm not too sure it's such a wonderful idea. I think we better get it off of here. We're liable to lose it. Because right down below us here is an open area of a stope where it shows through the surface at the top of the mountain. Kind of spooky. Off in the distance there was a lot of activity. Right now I guess that is pretty much over with. Used to be a lot of milling and working over there of some different outfits, because everybody wanted to get into it here. Now back up here, up in that area, is where there was a hole. And you can see how close the water table is to the surface of the desert floor here. For just around the corner here is a nice little kind of a lake. It's just where the water is seeped into the diggings. I don't think this goes very deep, but it could go very deep. I don't know. And I don't even know if it's possible that this would even be drinkable water. It's too pretty. It's too colored. Might have a little cyanide in it. And the animals around here, they know better. They won't drink it. They seem to know that. On the bank here, where it shows where the ores broke through the surface, where it's exposed, you can see the almost veins of raw silver. So I know that there was silver in this area too, and the blue-green. And that's not a copper stain, that's silver. A little farther over here is a shaft that's got a resident in it, way down there. He'd set up housekeeping down there. One of these little desert owls. Let's see if we can get around here and show him to you. And he don't want us to be here, and he's watching every move that I make. He just got an owl's eye on me. He is the cutest little fella you ever saw. I'm not going to stick around here. I don't want to disturb him. Or it might be a she, and she may have some babies down there. But she's got a good, safe place, because ain't nothing going to go down there and get her, or get her babies. And it's probably pretty.
Hello, ceiling. Well, some may say that the Harqua Hala gold mines are through, but occasionally people come and there's people lease it, people work it. The Golden Eagle, I understand, has quite a few passageways. Some may be passable and some may be very, very dangerous. It's not a place to go if you don't know what you're doing. But it had its glory days. Fantastic glory days. Always fascinate me. This one looked like pretty solid. If it looks bad any place, I'm fine. I'll get out of here. This one looks like pretty. If it looks bad any place, I'll get out of here. So far, I don't see any signs of any fantastic overbody. So far, I don't see any signs of any fantastic overbody. I don't see any quartz. Very little. I don't see any quartz. Very little. That's a little taller. At least you can stand up. Here's another leaky fan. Tunnel going off to the right. Here's another. Might be easy to get turned around. There's a bunch of these. Might be easy to get turned around. There's a bunch of these. Oh my goodness, look at that. Looks like they. Oh my goodness, look at that. Walled one off here. Looks like there's somebody chipping back here. Walled one off here. Come on, look over here first. Look at there. But they've left the support. Look over here. My God, look at that tremendous stump. Where they followed the vein up. My God, look at that tremendous stump. Where they followed the vein up. My goodness. Look at where that's caved in there. You can see out. Look at where that's caved in there. At the top of the mountain. You can see out. At the top of the mountain. It's going back just a little ways further. I thought I heard somebody. There is somebody. It's going back just a little bit further. I thought I heard somebody. There's somebody. Hey!
Howdy.
My goodness.
Come on in. I'm ready for a break.
Hey! My goodness. My goodness. What have you got here? My goodness.
We're working this line. Getting out some of the old stuff. You can see we got all this new stuff up in here.
Yeah.
Getting out some of the old stuff.
Looks like a lot of quartz.
Yeah, we've been
A lot
following
of
the
quartz. This
vein.
vein seems to be broken up everywhere, doesn't it?
Yeah, it went straight on back this way and over here.
This vein seems to be...
Yeah, a lot of gold in this stuff. This
What's
hill's...
What is this, the water line, the pump water line?
Yeah, that's what that is. A lot of gold in this stuff. We're not too much below us, we'll hit water.
20 feet or so?
I don't even think it'd be that far now.
What the oil they got? 20 feet or so? Oh my goodness, look at that.
They just go all the way on up to the surface there.
Oh my goodness, look at that. You know what? Looks like a person could get lost in a mine like this.
Oh yeah, you gotta know them.
Looks like a person could get...
This whole mountain is just completely honeycombed. Little tunnels off like this, going up the surface.
I'll be darned. Oh shit, there's a shaft right here.
Yeah, don't. Be very careful where you step.
Uh-oh.
Now
Shaft
these
going
holes
down.
just go straight down. This is no place to be wandering around. Be very careful.
Sure ain't. Looks like a good job though. They're doing a good job here.
Oh yeah,
You guys.
this mine's
Looks
been
like a
working
good job though.
well for a long time.
I thought it was worked out.
Now, there's still lots of gold in these hills.
I thought it was worked out. You got any other?
Yeah, I was talking about how honeycombed it is.
Yeah?
Let's take a look back here.
Okay.
A lot of people don't understand that these hills into a honeycomb that always run the risk of the top falling.
Yeah.
Here's an example of where we run into that problem.
Uh-huh.
Like, well, why don't you come right on up here to the top? Don't go too far beyond. And look back in here. People drive on top.
Drive up on top of this thing?
Look back in here.
Drive up on top of this thing? My gosh, look at that.
That goes right up to the surface.
Look at this. Look at this.
See
Here.
how we have the top.
Here's fantastic stuff. I've never seen anything like it. Look at this. Here. Look at the veins. Here's fantastic stuff. I've never seen
A
anything.
lot of marble.
My goodness. And that just goes on and on over there.
Yeah.
And that just goes on and on over
It's
there.
quartzite, just like marble.
Isn't that something? So you have rich and poor
Oh yeah.
at the same time, don't you?
Yeah, you have to haul a lot of dirt to
You
get
have
some.
rich and poor at the same
Cold.
time. To get enough, yeah.
Yes. It's like my mom used to tell my sister, you got to kiss a lot of frogs before you can find the prince.
Oh, my goodness.
Also want to watch for little rattling vipers in these things too.
Yeah, because it's cool. You know how far the sun is at. They like to get in here.
All right.
Yeah, because it's cool. You know how far the sun is at. Well, this is fascinating. They like to get in here. Fascinating.
Yeah, it was back there. It's just my light is going out.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Back there.
Dead end's back over yonder, huh?
Right.
Dead end's back over yonder, huh? That's quite a room right here. Quite a room. That's quite a room right here.
Yeah, this is a working area.
Quite a room. My goodness. Tunnel going on back here. The veins must be still. Tunnel going on back here.
This is all over the mountain.
To this whole mountain. The veins must be still.
You want to go back in there, there's a
To
lot of
this whole
paths.
mountain.
Back droppings can be very dangerous to your health.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell you, I'm gonna head out here. Oh yeah.
Permanently? All time? Year round?
Yeah, pretty much so. I like to get out here. I know all these mines, all the shafts, every place they go.
How many miles
What
would you think? Or in this mountain?
Just right in this general vicinity is probably 5 to 10 miles at least.
And some of them go right down to the water too.
Right, yeah, right into the water.
And some of them into the old workings.
Uh-huh.
Some of them go right down to the water.
Yeah, all these mines have just gone through this whole hill. I don't know of any hill that's so well honeycombed as
So well
this.
honeycomb. Yeah, this
I would
thing.
bet this would even be more than Rich Mountain.
But yeah.
There, they've taken more gold out of this area than they did out of the Vulture area.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's Riggins said. I'll be darned. This is the most interesting I've ever seen. You know, if I ever get a real good little shake, this could be a big open pit.
Yeah, yeah, you saw that room back there. When the big one comes, I don't want to be down here. I suspect with the honeycombing they have on this thing, a good shake, this mountain could be a slump.
It just collapsed, yeah. The whole thing collapsed, because I've never seen so much holes and stopes in my life. In any place.
Yeah, it just continues on and on.
Holes and stopes in my life. I'll be darned. And this is the Golden Eagle.
The Golden Eagle, yeah.
40 years I've been digging this thing.
Right?
Well, sure nice talking to you.
Still doing it.
And I'm gonna get myself out of here too.
Good idea.
We'll see you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Harqua Hala, 100 years is but a split second in time. The steps leading to a once opulent home, the foundation, the cheery fireplace, given time will all disappear. $5,000, 10,000 years, the bits and pieces will spark imagination. What manner of people lived here? Will they call them the old ones? The ancients? Who knows? Time is but a few seconds. Of course, the old miners who are buried here, they really won't care. The many of them that died in the mines, and those that died from disease. I wonder, is there such a thing as reincarnation? If there is, do you think a miner would come back as a miner? Something to ponder. I wonder. Maybe 10,000 years from now, this will be underwater again. Who knows? But it will change. It's a constant change. Time is change. And who knows what the future brings. Until next time, it's Barney, old feller. I'm glad you came with me. Bye-bye.